Djurs Sommerland is arguably a contender for the best theme/amusement park in Denmark, and this park is located in central Denmark in an area called Nimtofte. And this Danish park is home to many great roller coasters and flat rides, and I've decided to rank the best rides in Djurs Sommerland, and I've collected a total of 15 different rides in this park. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this countdown. And now coming in at spot number 15, we got TRex Family Coaster, and this attraction overall is a family roller coaster made by Vhak rides. This roller coaster isn't really one of the most intense at Djurs Sommerland because it's of course a family coaster. And it's very important to mention that TRex Family Coaster is a power roller coaster, and that means the maximum speed of this ride is programmed throughout the whole ride experience. This coaster has a total of 2 laps, where the first one is quite slow and the second one is a bit faster. The point of the first lap on this ride is looking at the theming because there's many dinosaurs to look at, and on the second lap the maximum speed is increased, so here you can find some lateral g-forces and some sharp turns. And moving on at spot number 14, we got Den Vilde Hønsejagt, and this is a very cute Zero Rides family roller coaster located in the farm section of this park. This farm section is actually a very great kids area because it's very well themed and it has many attractions. And the family coaster Den Vilde Hønsejagt is the main attraction in this area. This coaster is very small and compact, yet it still offers a decent punch. And because it's a family roller coaster, this layout doesn't really offer any sharp turns or punchy elements. But if you want a bit more force, the drop is great in the back row. But this little family roller coaster gets points for its front card. That just looks amazing. And coming in at spot number 13, we got Long Con Expedition, and also known as Træstammerne in Danish. This is a log flume roller coaster made by Big Country Motioneering. This log flume is very simple but very cool if you're with friends or family. Giving its small ride area, this log flume actually has a very lengthy layout. This water slide actually has 3 great splashdowns, where the first and smallest splashdown actually gets you the most wet. The first 2 splashdowns goes into this mountain and then out, and after that you have the final splashdown. It goes over the mountain and then down into a huge splash section. Overall a simple and great water slide that's fun for all families. And now coming in at spot number 12, we got Piratfisken, and surprisingly this is a much smaller log flume and water slide than the other one, but I just feel like this is so funny. Piratfisken is a very small and well-themed log flume ride by ABC Rides. This small log flume ride is well-themed and it also has a great soundtrack you can listen to. The boats on this ride are very small, so there's only place for 1 or 2, and this small log flume actually has a great double down element before the splashdown. And if 2 big boys squeeze into these small log flumes, you really have a soaker. When we were 2 in this small boat, we actually almost sank the ride. And moving on at spot number 11, we got Sablen, and Sablen in my opinion is one of the coolest looking small drop towers in the world. And Sablen actually provides a very dynamic experience for kids and families, and this small drop tower is actually a tilting drop tower by ABC Rides. Sablen really provides a very lengthy duration with many small and punchy drops, and in my opinion the small punchy drops on Sablen is enough to make an adult smile also. So Sablen is overall a great smaller drop tower with a very cool theming. And coming in at spot number 10, we got Spinosaurus, and this is actually one of the newer flat rides in Djurs Sommerland, and this attraction is mainly known as a disco made by Samperla, and Spinosaurus actually offers a decent amount of thrills for both adults and kids. People sit on the edge of this huge disc and the disc starts to move back and forth up these hills. Spinosaurus actually reaches a maximum speed of 70 km per hour, and I think that's around 45 miles per hour. Spinosaurus is actually one of the bigger flat rides in Djurs Sommerland, and combined with a great speed and spinning elements, you have a great flat ride. And now coming in at spot number 9, we got Dragskibet, and Dragskibet is actually part of a very iconic flat ride made by Hos Park Attractions. You can really find many of these Viking ships in many parks dangling back and forth, and Dragskibet actually has a very cool location over by the lake, and this iconic Viking ship flat ride really offers many great airtime moments. And if you really want to reach the highest point of this flat ride, I recommend sitting in one of the ends. This is where your body almost goes vertical, and this is also where the most amount of airtime is. But if you are afraid of this type of ride, just sit in the middle, it's very mild then. But unfortunately, if I ride Dragskibet more than once, I might get very sick. And now coming in at spot number 8, we got Solguden, and this is actually one of the most popular and iconic attractions at Djurs Sommerland. And Solguden is actually made by Zero Rides, and this manufacturer has also made Den Vilde Hønsejagt. Solguden may not look like the most thrilling ride, but you can control this ride going up and down. And Solguden actually features its own soundtrack, and this soundtrack is so catchy that almost every Danish person knows it. And if you don't follow the orders that you get on this soundtrack, you might get splashed with water, so that's quite funny also. So overall, Solguden gets many points for being so iconic, funny, the soundtrack is great, and you can control the ride. And now coming in at spot number 7, we got Skatteøen. Skatteøen is part of the so-called water coaster model made by Vhak rides, and in my opinion Vhak rides just makes the best water coasters. Skatteøen overall offers a decent thrill on this water coaster layout, and after that you also have a great airtime hill and a great splashdown section. 80% of Skatteøens main coaster layout just features bank turns that are very janky, but this type of ride just has an epic ending with a great drop under a tunnel and then the airtime hill and the huge splashdown. Djurs Sommerland really did a great job with the landscaping around Skatteøen, and on top of this you have a very well themed station and pre-lift section. And now coming in at spot number 6, we got Thors Hammer. Thors Hammer is actually an old bobsled roller coaster model by Gerslauer. This roller coaster model is mainly known for its small cars, and on top of that you you have these very sharp turns at the start, and after that you have a cool roller coaster layout with many twists and turns and small dips. Djurs Sommerland really is no exception. This roller coaster starts off with many sharp bank turns with many lateral G-forces. After that, this coaster goes into a couple of high-speed twists and turns. Then the coaster goes into this tunnel with 2 airtime hills, and then it pops out over the lake, and that's just so scenic. And Djurs Sommerland overall just has a great roller coaster layout, and combined with a decent amount of theming and a great location over the lake, you have a great coaster. And now moving on at spot number 5, we got El Grito Drop Tower. And El Grito is actually the newest attraction at Djurs Sommerland. This is a 60 meter / 200 feet tall drop tower made by Funtime, and El Grito is by far the tallest attraction at Djurs Sommerland. While going slowly up the tower, the seats are turning around so you can see the whole park. And surprisingly, El Grito really has a decent amount of punch in this drop. The release of the cart is quick and sharp, and the brakes are also sharp. So overall, a surprisingly decent punch on El Grito. And now moving up to the big boys at spot number 4, we got Dra Kong. This coaster is actually a very rare suspended family coaster made by Intamin. That's actually because Vhak mainly dominates the family suspended coaster model. And the only negative thing I can say about Dra Kong is that it has a slight rattle, but that doesn't really bother me. And Dra Kong is actually one of the most thrilling family coasters out there with a very forceful and lengthy layout. Dra Kong actually has a cool little pre-lift section where the train launches into this tunnel with red lights. And just like Vhak, Dra Kong starts off with a twisted first drop and into a very forceful overbank. But after that, Dra Kong really has a very lengthy, fast-paced and twisted layout that's way better than the Vhak family coasters. And coming in at spot number 3, we got Juwelen. And I actually think that Juwelen was the prototype family launch coaster by Intamin. And this motorbike roller coaster model is overall just one of the best family coasters in the world. Juwelen features a very lengthy 1 kilometer long layout with 2 tire launches. And even though it's tire launches, these launches are still very punchy. Juwelen also features a cool dark ride section just before the first launch. Juwelen overall features a decent and whippy first half section of the ride, but when you hit that second rolling launch, the roller coaster goes from 0 to 100 real quick. After the second rolling launch, Juwelen goes into a very strong bank turn, and after that you just have a world-class second half. And this is where Juwelen really showcases why it's one of the best family coasters in the world. And now coming in at spot number 2, we got Tition. And if you translate the word to English, it's just a tiger. And yet again, we have a very cool Intamin product, but this time we got one of the best flat rides in the world, the gyro swing. And this huge gyro swing actually features lap bars, so that's amazing. And in my opinion, this is by far the best flat ride we have in all of Denmark. And the swinging on this flat ride just feels amazing, because when you hit the top of this, you get a lot of airtime. And because you have these awesome lap bars on Tition, it's just amazing. And for me, this Intamin flat ride creation is one of the most thrilling ever. And now coming in at spot number 1, we got Padan. And since 2008, Padan has just been the best attraction overall at Djurs Sommerland. Padan is actually part of the small and compact coaster model called the Ultra Coaster by Intamin. And Padan overall is just a short, compact and very punchy roller coaster. Padan starts off with a decent drop and very positive heavy turn. And after that, the coaster goes into its many iconic airtime moments. Padan actually features 3 consecutive S-hills, and these S-hills gives the strongest ejector airtime out there. This coaster also packs in some other airtime hills, but these S-hills are just the best. And if you really want to ride Padan under the best conditions, I recommend the back row, and then it needs to be warmed up. So I would recommend riding Padan in the back row in the late evening. That actually concludes my video ranking the best attractions at Djurs Sommerland. Do you agree? Do I disagree? Have I missed some attractions? Let me know in the comments. And then at the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.